Hello and welcome back to Rapid Flow. Today I'm going to be showing you the final part of this three-part series, which is how I use the controllers in my studio. And this one is actually the little sequencer, the Torso T1, which is super essential for my workflow for making melodies and harmonies. If you want to see how I use the Arturia BeatStep Pro, then you'll see that linked in the description of this video. I've also made a video where I show the looping workflow with the Launchpad, as well as using these two controllers here to control a full live set. What we're hearing today is the Ableton Eric Harriman template, which contains everything you're hearing today straight from Ableton, pre-mastered, and yeah, in a super high quality, ready to go for you in the studio. So how does it work with the Torso T1? How do we use this thing to make melodies? Well, the first step to do is to make sure that it's really tight with the DAW. And for that, what I do is that I'll look for a note that's easy to hear, and I'll put down, let me get this thing in focus, I'll put down what would be a 4/4 kick. So it's 8 steps, 16 steps all in all. You can see it cycling through there. So I want to know that this is playing super tight together with the kick drum. And in order to do that, I have it hooked up to this multi-clock over here in the corner. Let me show you what it sounds like when this is tight with the track. I'm going to start my sequencer again just to make really sure that this thing is tight. And I'm just triggering one note now through the DAW session here, where you can see the P6 channel is actually activated. I'm sending MIDI into this from the Torso T1. And this input is going out to the Prophet over here on my desk. And that sound is being captured again back into the template over here. It says Prophet. So that's the workflow that we're doing here. So let me get this thing tight on the grid. That's pretty tight. So what I'm doing is that I rotated the knobs on the multi-clock to make sure that these guys are tight together. And now I'm actually in a position where I can use the Torso to make a melody. And let me show you how cool and how easy it is to do this. So I can scroll through the notes using this pitch knob here to find the root note that's going to fit with this track. Let's have a listen. That's the root note now. That's good. And now I can look for maybe a chord to play in this. Okay, so now I have something that could be the beginning. So I've just added a few more notes to what it's playing. But what it's playing now is this rather boring 4/4 pattern, which is what I use to set the timing right. So now let me show you what happens when I start messing with the timing of this and just like how fun and how easy it is to get into kind of like, yeah, cool vibes with it. I'm going to use my looping workflow, bring in some shakers and percussion to see if I can spice this up a little bit. And if I don't like what I did, I can just select a bunch of different loops. I've explained how I do all this on another video that's linked in the description. It's part of this series. Cool, so now I have this and I can just try different pulses. Now I can use the controls on the Prophet to get something that I like. And now if I want to turn this into something that also varies a bit, it's super easy. I can just move these notes around while it's playing. Let me show you. So that one's out of key. Let me move the top one. This is pretty much how I use it. I know that it can do scales and all that kind of stuff, but actually it's pretty simple to move one of these notes around. So what I generally do then, if I find something that I like, is I'll just record it straight to audio right here in the template. So let me do that. I'm going to start the DAW, then it's going to take 4 beats for the multi-clock to get in sync, and then I'm going to record whatever this thing is sending out with the Prophet and tweak the filter of the Prophet in real time, as well as the MIDI notes here to create some kind of a variation. So let's have a listen. So now I have what could be sort of my melodic harmonic idea for this. Let me take you over here. I have it recorded in here, and what I'm going to do to make my life easier is just put an auto filter on here quickly and have a high cut on it on my controller, which will just make life easier for being able to manage when this thing maybe gets a bit out of hand. And I think what this sound is also calling for is a bit of reverb and a little bit of delay. That never hurts a synth. So let's have a listen. I think hopefully this gives you a good impression of why I think the little torso T1 here is such a cool little sequencer. I mean, you know, like I'm showing you just the tip of the iceberg here. This thing can do a lot. Like it has the possibility to run a full live set off of this thing and like a digital or something like that, because it has 16 sequencers, but I mostly just use it for a non-keyboard piano-based type of approach to harmonies and melodies. I love how it does these Euclidean rhythms, that it's just chopping up the available time in different timing intervals, and then just shifting through the pitch up and down. Has made this like a cornerstone device for me in my studio to get melodies and harmonies that I really love when I don't want to do them just on a piano keyboard, because that often for me leads to kind of similar type of sound. So yes, you have now seen the trilogy of all my devices. I think maybe to finish off this video and give you the final overview, the other stuff that I use, I have a console one. Every channel I use on my template has a console one inserted in it. And I mostly use just a high cut filter from that, and maybe the sidechain on the compressor. And the high cuts that I show you on the other video on my controllers are all just managing the high cut of a console one. So I could actually remove this and it wouldn't make any difference to how I'm able to interact with this template. The other thing is I have this incredible mouse trackball thing, which is good for my arm. It has undo and double click on one side, as well as normal click and mouse click. This thing is like incredibly useful for being able to move around the screen faster and not get like RSI type arm. And then finally, I have this trackpad, which I use primarily just really for scrolling around the screen, which just makes my life so much easier than when I try to do that. I know that you can hold shift and move stuff around and whatever, but it's just no comparison to how easy it is when you're doing this with your left hand with 2 fingers, while on the right hand your mouse is extremely useful, and I rarely have to move my hand to the keyboard unless I'm typing in a name. So am I missing anything here? This Stream Deck here is just for all the YouTubing stuff. I use this to change the camera angles, as you just saw. So I'm filming always everything in real time. I don't edit much in post-production, because who has the time? Respect to all the people out there that have the time. I don't. That's it. I think we've now seen everything that's here on my desk that I use to control my sessions and make music. So everything I showed you today ran off of the Eric Heiermann template, which is available on rapidflow.shop for Ableton 12 and higher. It includes track settings and everything for 18 channels. Yes, 18 channels, high cuts, light performance effects, DJ effects, the looping workflow, mastering chain, sound effects, settings for all the major elements of electronic music. Everything's in there to basically do what I've been doing today, and maybe one more outboard synth or some plugins, and then you're basically able to replicate everything you heard today with your own ideas and your own notes and clips and melodies. So that's it from me today. I hope that this was a fun video and series to see. If you missed the videos on the BeatStep Pro and on the controllers up here on the desk, then make sure to check them. They're linked in the description, where I walk you through this whole controller setup, this looping setup. And I also did a video on my favorite little sequencer for basslines, which is the Arturia BeatStep Pro. You have now seen the torso. So yeah, I think you now have a full overview of how I use all these tools to be much more efficient in the studio, have a lot more fun. I find this way more fun than drawing notes with a mouse. Could never go back to that. So yeah, I hope this inspires you and is valuable to you, and I'll see you on the next video. Take it easy. Bye bye.